Mike Tyson just dropped a brutal truth that's shaking the fight world to its core. He claims Ryan Garcia has never faced a real man, and now the entire boxing community is in complete shock.
Expert analysis on the fights. Who is your favorite fighter on this card?
Wow. Shit, there's a lot of good fighters on this card. And shit, I like them all. I like Haney a lot. And personally, I like him. And Teofimo's great. Listen, man, it should be a great card. It should be a great card. You know, Ryan Garcia is the draw, there's no doubt. But it should be a fun fight with him and Roman. I like Romero. He's exciting. You know, he always gives good fights. He's not a bad fight. Any fight is not bad. Every fight he fought, been good. Even when he lost.
Yeah, and look, of course,
Mike Tyson looked Ryan Garcia dead in the face and decided he wasn't a real fighter. Not through a press conference, not on social media. He did it live, on broadcast, sitting ringside while Garcia was getting dropped and beaten in front of the whole world. The words hit harder than any punch thrown that night. And by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what Tyson said, why it cut so deep, and what Garcia did about it.
Tyson, you're no stranger to crazy fight weeks and turbulence. Ryan Garcia, he's had a crazy year out of the ring. Now he seems to be calming down and focused. When you have the chaos swirling around you, do you feel more focused? Does it put you more at ease?
Well, certain people are, I don't know. Some people are controlled in chaos. That's their calmness, chaos, and certain people are confused with it. Depends on the individual. I love chaos. I love it.
Yeah, because another fighter that loves chaos is Teofimo Lopez. I remember when he fought Josh Taylor, he was saying a lot of crazy things, at least we thought, and everyone was saying that Taylor was going to destroy him. And of course, that was one of Teofimo's best performances.
If you clicked this video, you already know boxing has been a wild ride for Ryan Garcia. Most people watching right now think they've got Garcia figured out. Fast hands, big social media following, too much drama, not enough grit. That's the story they've been telling for 3 years, and on the surface, there's been plenty of evidence to back it up. But here's what this channel keeps coming back to. The loudest critics are sometimes telling the most important story, and they don't even know it. Mike Tyson didn't just take a shot at Garcia for attention. He made a very specific claim. He said Garcia had never fought a real man. That's not a trash talk line. That's a verdict from the man many consider the most terrifying fighter who ever lived. So in this video, we're breaking down 3 things. First, exactly what Tyson said and when he said it. Second, why the criticism actually had teeth based on Garcia's real record. And third, the moment that changed everything. The moment Garcia answered every single person who ever doubted him, including Iron Mike.
I thought Taylor was going to get him too, but he kicked Taylor's ass. But listen, that's what the people want. If you're a fighter, entertainer in general, a race car driver, and you don't even have to be winning much, but you're talking a lot of shit, and that's what people want. People want to hear it. They just want to hear action. They don't want to see a fighter. I'm going to do my best, and God willing, I win. No, they want to hear him talk shit. You got to have audacity. If you're not having no audacity, no one's going to come to the fight.
Yeah, absolutely. And we have a lot of big trash talkers. Obviously, you mentioned Rolando Romero is a great trash talker, Ryan Garcia, Devin Haney, Teofimo.
Ryan Garcia entered 2025 as one of boxing's biggest stars and one of its most complicated stories. He had speed that few fighters in the world could match, a following of millions, and a record that, on paper, looked impressive. 23 wins, 19 knockouts. But by the time 2025 came around, Garcia hadn't had a clean, undisputed win in over 2 years. His April 2024 victory over Devin Haney, where he dropped Haney 3 times and looked like the best fighter on the planet, was wiped off the books after a positive test for the banned substance ostarine. The New York State Athletic Commission handed him a 1-year suspension and a fine. The win became a no contest. So when Garcia finally returned to the ring in May 2025 at Times Square in New York, fighting Rolando Romero for the WBA welterweight title, the stakes couldn't have been higher. A win would silence the doubters. A loss could end his run at the elite level for good. Mike Tyson was in the building, seated ringside,
watching every round. And this is where the story gets complicated. Now, most people covering this story talked about the Romero fight, but almost nobody talked about what Tyson said while it was happening and what it meant. In round 2, Rolando Romero landed a left hook that sent Garcia to the canvas. The crowd exploded. Romero, the heavy underdog, had just dropped the favorite. Mike Tyson, sitting ringside, had a reaction that went viral. He leaned over to Shakur Stevenson and shouted about Garcia, mocking him, calling him out. Shakur couldn't stop laughing. Tyson was captured on the broadcast saying Garcia was gun-shy after the knockdown, and after the fight, speaking on the DAZN broadcast, he questioned whether anyone should still want to see the Haney rematch. Think about what that means. This isn't a random Twitter user. This is the youngest heavyweight champion in boxing history, a man who knocked out 44 opponents, who has seen fear and toughness up close his entire life. When Tyson says a fighter has gone gun-shy, that's not a throwaway comment, that's a diagnosis. And the Romero result backed it up. Garcia lost every meaningful round after the knockdown. He went on to lose by unanimous decision. The guy who knocked down Devin Haney 3 times looked like a completely different fighter. After the fight, Garcia was humble. He told the press, "He caught me early. No excuses, man. Congrats to him. He did a great job." But inside, every fighter in the world knows what it means when Mike Tyson laughs at you on live TV. But that's not even the most important part of this story.
And this is where the real story, the one nobody in mainstream boxing media put together, finally comes out. Because the question isn't whether Tyson's comment was fair. The question is, was it accurate? Look at Garcia's actual record at the elite level before February 2026. His biggest wins came against Oscar Duarte in 2023, a solid fighter, but not a world champion. His win over Haney was wiped out. His fight against Romero was a loss. And before all of that, Gervonta Davis had stopped him cold in round 7 with a body shot in 2023. Garcia had never, in his professional career, held a major world title. Not a full WBC, WBA, IBF, or WBO belt. Not one. He had an interim title, which he eventually vacated. For a fighter who had been marketed as one of boxing's biggest stars for 6 years, that was a glaring hole in his resume. When Tyson said Garcia had never fought a real man in his life, he was pointing directly at that hole. The resume didn't lie. Garcia's own promoter, Oscar De La Hoya, publicly expressed frustration. De La Hoya said in an interview with Ariel Helwani that there was a fine line between having mental health issues and just being difficult, and he wasn't sure which one Garcia was anymore. That's when you know a fighter is at a crossroads, when his own team starts talking like that, when the legend in the front row is laughing at you, when the win that should have defined your career got thrown out because of a failed drug test. Garcia was one bad result away from becoming a cautionary tale, a guy with highlight reel speed and 0 major titles who couldn't stay out of his own way long enough to win anything that mattered. But here's what nobody is connecting, and once you see it, you can't unsee it. Here's the thing about Mike Tyson. He's been wrong before, but he's also been right in ways that cut through the noise when everyone else was just hyping the money. Before the Romero fight, Tyson appeared on the Pat McAfee show and said the fight would be close. The boxing world laughed. Garcia was a heavy favorite. The close prediction looked like Tyson just being contrarian. Then Romero won, and Tyson looked like a prophet. But here's the twist that nobody saw coming. On February 21, 2026, Ryan Garcia walked into T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas against WBC welterweight champion Mario Barrios. Within the first few seconds of round 1, Garcia landed a combination that put Barrios on the canvas. He didn't stop there. He controlled every single round that followed. 12 rounds, dominant from start to finish. The judges scored it 119-108, 120-107, and 118-109. Ryan Garcia was finally a world champion. After the fight, Garcia said, "It feels good to finally be a world champion. It's something I've been dreaming of since I was 7 years old." Think about the full picture. Tyson laughed at him ringside, called him gun-shy, said he'd never fought a real man in his life. And 6 months later, Garcia knocked down a world champion in the opening seconds, won 12 rounds, and left Las Vegas with a belt. The tribal fans in boxing love this story because it's the only story that really matters. The fighter who got written off, who got mocked by the greatest, who came back and proved every single critic wrong. Maybe Tyson was right in May, and maybe Garcia used every word of it as fuel.
Here's where we land. Mike Tyson said what a lot of people were thinking but wouldn't say out loud. Ryan Garcia's record had holes. His career had drama. His fights kept ending in controversy or losses at the worst possible moments. Tyson didn't make that up. He just said it louder than everyone else. But Garcia answered. He answered with a knockdown in the first round. He answered with 12 dominant rounds. He answered with a WBC world title belt around his waist. The journey from Times Square, getting dropped, getting laughed at, losing his most important fight, to T-Mobile Arena, where he finally became champion, is one of the better comeback stories in recent boxing history. Now here's the question that's going to keep this conversation going. Was Mike Tyson right to call Garcia out? And did that moment of public humiliation actually push Garcia to become the champion he was supposed to be? Or does Garcia still have something to prove to the old guard? Drop your take below. If you want the full story on everything happening in boxing before it hits the mainstream, hit subscribe.